Definitely not the starters. You're on the End of the Bench podcast from 100.7 The Score.
I'm Mike Hebert, owner of Cantex Roofing and Construction. Every day is game day, and we'll get it right when it comes to your roofing, construction, windows, and mirrors. Call Cantex Roofing and Construction today. Together, we are one serving you.
Welcome in 100.7 The Score. It's the End of the Bench. Rob Breaux, Craig Wells, Lucas White. We are in the First United Bank studio. You can call in on the Visual Edge IT hotline, 806-771-0973. You can also hit us up on the Yates Flooring Center chat line. We will check on the FIBA World Cup that's ongoing as we continue through this show. We'll probably hit you the Germany score on the headline segment. I forgot about it until just now, so I'll have to be surprised with everyone else. Because yesterday my plan was to watch it this morning, and then I did not remember at all. I was just putting around the house, doing my thing.
You weren't on German time?
Not on Switzerland. They're in Switzerland. Yeah, I was not on Swiss time.
Yeah.
Heinz, Trines. No. And then Team USA plays, I think, at 10:15.
Yeah.
So we'll get to watch that one live here.
Yeah.
With AJ Debansa and Moretz.
I think he's living up to expectations.
Yes. Koa Pete is the MVP so far.
Yeah.
That guy's going to be in Arizona. He's going to be a problem.
Yeah.
Now, Toppin will probably be preseason player of the year. He's the player of the year last year. But I would not be surprised at all for Koa Pete to be the preseason newcomer of the year and for him to have a lot of accolades as the season goes on.
Stat line, he's real impressive. I have not seen him play, but
you will
real
today.
Impressive.
You will today?
Yeah.
Can't wait, huh?
Yeah. I want to see what we're going to have, what they're going to have.
Yeah, what Arizona will have. There's a kid with Germany going to Washington. He had 19 and 19 in game one. So we'll have to see what he's doing today.
Ooh.
Hans Steinbach.
Somebody guard the guy.
He's having a good game.
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
Oh, do we have a score?
Right now it's 91-76.
Okay.
6
Germany's
minutes
up.
left in the fourth quarter.
And that is against Canada?
That is correct.
Okay.
And I would think Canada probably has one of the better teams. I mean,
yeah, probably top 5.
Yeah.
Germany struggled with Slovenia and then kind of put them away in the fourth quarter. Team USA has not really struggled yet.
All the starters for Germany have at least 10 points.
Oh. So Chris Sanders had 7 in the first game, 14 in the second. What does he have today?
It's 22.
22!
attaboy, Christian.
Yeah, we knew he was going to break out at some point. How many?
6
what's he on?
assists.
6 assists. What's he on at 3?
Let me check. He also has 4 rebounds.
Okay. 22, 4, and 6.
1 steal.
Oh, he's
He
filling
is
it up.
shooting 7 for 13 from the field, 4 for 9 from 3-point range, 4 for 6 from the free throw line.
Attaboy, Christian.
That's a pretty good day.
You know, his assists have been pretty much up there, I mean, for him. And
Yes.
I kind of think that, you know, he better get used to that because he may be our point guard.
Well, I wonder if there was a little bit of, with Team Germany, hey, can I play some point guard? Can I hone my skills a little bit because Grant McCaslin wants me to do it next year?
Absolutely. If he didn't say it, Coach McCaslin said it too.
Yeah, he's down there. He might have walked over.
He only has 1 turnover.
Oh, good for him.
So that was in his first game. I think he had 5, but the whole team was a little rough. And some of those, you're throwing a dangerous pass, and the guy just misses it, and it's your turnover. You're trying to be a little. I think they were a little keyed up in game 1 against Slovenia, but apparently they're playing pretty well right now.
And I don't think they had practiced a whole lot. So,
No.
You know, another thing, these kids ought to be used to this. This is just exactly like an AAU tournament where you play every day. You play at 10 o'clock in the morning or something, then you turn around and you play at 2 in the afternoon or something, and then you play a tournament at the end. You play your pods, and then they ought to be used to this kind of play. And I think the whole thing takes 10 days. 8 or 9, 10 days, something like that. So to get in that many games in such a short period of time is nothing.
Maybe just a week.
Yeah. Yeah.
Are they done by Saturday, Sunday?
I
think it wraps up pretty quick because the pool play takes 4 days because it was Saturday, Sunday. They were off yesterday. Now they're playing today.
Okay.
So that's pool play wraps up today, and I think they start the 16 tomorrow.
Yeah.
So that'd be 16-8-4 championship.
And
there might be a day off in there too. So.
Right, and the 16 is single elimination. Is that right? Yeah.
But it's been fun to watch. About 5 minutes left now. That Duru kid's pretty good too.
Yep.
Or he had a big game in the first game.
And you got to realize they're playing FIBA rules.
Yeah.
Which are a little bit different, not entirely, but
Lane's
a little bit
wider.
Yep.
The officiating has been a little bit different. A little quick, I would say.
Yeah.
Not soft, but
just
it's that international officiating.
I just started to say, just typical international refereeing where they may let them maul each other in the next game, and then, they're...
It's kind of like the Big 12.
Yeah. And in this game, we said, well, we're going to clean it up.
Do we have international officials in the Big 12?
Yeah.
But that also threw him off in that first game, I think, because it was a little bit of, Christian Anderson had foul trouble early, like 2 really quick ones, and I didn't think either of them were fouls. But they were calling it consistently. Everybody was getting them, so I think it took some time there as well. Oh, I haven't seen this before. They've got the names up underneath the players like it's a video game.
Christian got him a little different hairdo, too.
Yeah, he grew it out a little bit. He's been doing
nice
a lot of that
pass.
right now.
Now, see, that should count as an assist because the guy should have scored.
Right.
He got
Just fumbled it.
rocks for hands.
So that's going on right now. Team USA, about 10 o'clock. It is 95-77 as Germany is taking care of Canada. I would assume Team USA and Germany, I don't know how they exactly seed it, and I've not paid attention to the other 2 groups. There could be teams in those 2 groups with undefeated records as well.
France usually has a pretty good team.
But I think France was in the USA group.
Is that right?
So Team USA beat France.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it's...
Can you not win your
4,
group? Can you not win your group in advance?
There's only 16 teams.
Yeah,
everybody advances.
Can you get seeded even though you didn't win your,
if you go 0-3, you're probably just the 16th seed.
Okay.
But if there's 4 teams that go 4-0, I wonder if it's points or points for or margin.
Yeah. I didn't know if they seeded the 4 winners automatically 1, 2, 3, and 4, or whether a second place team out of USA's, because they were so good, could have been better than one of the others.
Yeah, it could just be straight point margin. That's not something I know.
Australia plays France the same time USA starts today.
Okay,
and
that's in the
group.
And we beat Australia the first game. Is that right?
Yes.
Yeah. I think they play Cameroon today for the first time ever in this
Lucas, give us a
division.
scouting report on Cameroon.
I bet they're tall.
We'll give you some headlines. We'll talk Rangers, Orioles after this. The Astros were off last night. We'll catch you up on what they're doing today on 100.7 The Score.
Playing time is not required. This is the End of the Bench podcast from 100.7 The Score.
Welcome back. 100.7 The Score. It is the end of the bench. We are patiently waiting another 27 minutes for Cameroon and Team USA. It should be an easy win for Team USA today. Cameroon 0-2 already in that group. As we find out more as we go along today, we will get you some potential bracket talk as you go through the morning. They have updated the Group B points. Germany was 6. You get 2 points for a win. Canada with 5. I guess you get a point for a loss as well. China with 3. Slovenia with 4. And It'll be big for France and Australia because they're both 1-1. So whoever wins that one will get second in that group. And then we'll go from there.
Do they have a bracket like Group A versus Group B and so forth? Do they have it automatically?
No, it doesn't say that.
Yeah.
But each of the group, what is this? Group
I'm assuming a 1 seed would play a 4 seed in a different.
Yeah, you would assume that.
Yeah.
But
it is on the other side of the ocean.
I don't know if it's A, B, C, D, or A, C, B, D, or what. So we'll just kind of have to figure that out as it goes along. If you are familiar with the FIBA process, and I would assume it's like the Olympics. It looks like the Olympics so far, but I don't remember how they seeded after group play. I didn't pay attention. I just see who Team USA is playing and lock in.
I do vaguely remember the 2 best teams being on different sides of the bracket, where the only time they would meet, when USA would play Czechoslovakia or Slovenia, or one time I think they played Spain in the finals. So
that was the redeemed team, I believe.
Yeah. Hopefully you'll get to the point to where the 2 best teams will be in the finals.
And I do think that's Team USA and Germany.
Yep.
All right, Lucas, let's check the calendar here.
Your daily look at what's happening in the world of sports, birthdays, and holidays. Let's check the calendar.
It is International Joke Day. Big day for Choice Woodman. He might go 6 or 7 deep on the dad jokes today, and I hope he does. I'm always a fan.
I'm a big fan. Big fan.
You didn't seem like a big fan when I was giving you my dad jokes, but that could have been the particular.
I loved
that could have been those particular
I
dad
loved
jokes.
them. I'm a dad joke guy. I'm very sad that I can't get away with telling one as good as you guys can. Mine's end up being a dad joke. Instead of a good joke, it ends up being a dad joke.
Well, sometimes those are even more impressive to me. It's American Zoo Day, so only in America are we celebrating the zoos. It's Bank Employee Day, but only in Guatemala. So shout out to the Guatemalan banks.
Both of them.
Yeah, both of them. It's Blink-182 Day.
That's one of your favorites, isn't it?
It is. Yes. Love Blink-182.
Yep. Why do they get a day and the Beatles don't get a day?
I'm sure the Beatles also get a day. Let's see. It is Doghouse Repair Month.
Okay.
The first of the month is always kind of a big day because you're trying to get all these in. Oh, David Collier will enjoy this one. International Chicken Wing Day. He's a big chicken wing guy.
Bone in, bone out.
Traditional.
Yeah.
And I go flats over drums, but I'm not gonna complain with either.
Big wing guy, but bone out for me.
Yeah, I like boneless too. I'm not a guy who's gonna be like, oh, those are just saucy nuggets.
Yeah.
They're still good.
Yeah. There is a place for traditional wings.
Yeah.
Because it's pretty darn good.
Let's see. National Ginger Snap Day.
Ooh.
What are your thoughts on peanut butter cookies?
I'm okay with them, but I like peanut butter other ways better.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. They're okay, but
I was taking some heat from that the other day.
Yeah. No.
If you were ranking a peanut butter cookie, would it be closer to the 1 in the top 10 or closer to 10?
10.
I might have it 10.
Yeah.
No, 9 because pecan sandies are.
Yeah, we're going to start off with snickerdoodles and work our way down.
Okay, now we're talking. Let's see. If you see Jamie Lent today, remind him it's Bobby Bonilla Day and also Chris Davis Day. We're still playing Chris Davis, right, Lucas?
That is correct.
And I think his is much more prolific than Bobby Bonilla's. It's a shorter term, but
I'll tell you who ought to be right there amongst them is Jimbo Fisher Day.
Yeah, well, I don't know if that's July 1st or not. We're also the flip of the calendar on the collegiate athletic year, and so happy revenue sharing day as well.
Yep.
Lucas,
Get ready, because here it comes, folks.
Lucas, any birthdays?
We have a few, but I want to say this real quick about Bobby Bonilla. He is making 1.2. Bucky Irving is making 1.19
Bucky Irving, the running back
for the
Bucks.
Yes.
Wow. And this will be a second season.
That is correct. Yeah.
And Bonilla gets his, what,
That
to
is
2030 or something like that?
Yeah, and he has not touched the diamond since 2001.
Kudos to his agent.
Yeah.
I mean, he saw something that maybe a loophole or whatever that, hey, if they'll do this, let's do this, Bobby.
Well, that's like Gronk. Gronk lived off his – he either lived off his endorsements or his football money and didn't touch the other.
Yep.
So Gronk is financially set as well.
Yep.
He seems like a guy who wouldn't be. Like one of those
he might spend it when he has
cautionary
it.
tales, yeah. One of those spend money now, make more later kind of guys.
Yeah.
We'll do this when we come back, Lucas.
Okay.
We'll finish with birthdays and this day in sports history when we return. We also have, coming up in the second hour, a burning question from Craig. We also have highs and lows at 10:15. We'll have Team USA versus Cameroon on the YouTube stream. Not our YouTube stream, on the FIBA YouTube stream. You can also stream us at Double T Sports Network all the way until noon when Choice Woodman in the bottom line takes over. We'll continue on. We'll also talk more Josh Jung and the Texas Rangers, who pitching and defense, number one. Offense, not.
Not so much.
More after this.
Definitely not the starters. You're on the End of the Bench podcast from 100.7 The Score.
Welcome back. 100.7 The Score. It is the End of the Bench. Let's wrap up what we were doing last segment and get to a couple of birthdays here, Lucas.
Nelson Cruz turning 45 years old.
Shout out to Nelson. I always forget he really got going at like 28. I mean, 45 seems really old for a guy who was playing like last year.
Yeah.
But his whole career was like, probably started like 6 years after it kind of should have.
Yeah.
Logan Thomas turning 34. He was the quarterback for Virginia Tech from 09 to 13. He was the backup to Tyrod Taylor. After Tyrod left, Logan Thomas stepped in. Rapper Missy Elliott turning 54. Liv Tyler
Flip it and reverse it.
is 48. We talked about her yesterday. Pamela Anderson, 58.
58.
Yeah, that's a lot.
She's been out of Baywatch 30 years, so.
Yeah. And then Rainey Rodriguez turning 32. She was in Paul Blart's Mall Cop. She was the daughter. And then Tate McRae, 22. Popular
I've heard that
singer.
name a lot. Don't know who that is.
I know one song, maybe, but
Oh, she sings.
she's a singer.
Okay.
Yeah.
Shout out to Tate McRae.
Sure. Yeah.
All right, this day in sports, not very many good ones, but a couple. 1934, and this is right down your alley, Rob. A radio executive, a radio guy from Detroit, bought the Portsmouth Spartans and paid $7,952.08, and it thus became the Detroit Lions. The Ford family actually took it over in 65, I believe, 63, but
$7,000.
Yep. See, for a mere $7,000 in 1934, you could be the Detroit Lions owner. And something else kind of strange when I was looking at that, the Ford family that owns them now actually bought them on the day of John F. Kennedy's assassination.
Wow. I am not going to make a joke about that. I wonder what was that price?
They did not give the price.
Okay, so he owned them for 34 to so like 30 years pretty much.
But I've got another follow-up.
Okay.
1965, 31 years later, Rankin Smith paid $8.5 million for the Atlanta Falcons. So in 31 years, you went from buying a team for $7,000 to $8.5 million. That's a good investment right there.
Well, if that radio executive was still around or his family still owned it for 30 years, that had to have been
big time good investment.
1,000-fold.
Yeah.
That's pretty impressive.
And probably the most outstanding fact I found out about today is that in 1992, the first pay bathrooms opened in New York City.
Pay to play.
25 cents is what it costs you.
Okay.
And you better have a quarter ready if you have to go, because there's no waiting in line. Either you have your quarter or you don't.
Is that per stall, or do you just get in the room?
Per stall.
Are those still around?
I don't think so.
I don't really carry quarters around. I'd be stuck.
I don't think that lasted quite as long as the hula hoop did, but
yeah, because people were just using the wall out in New York.
In New York, they just went behind the building.
Oh, here's a dumpster. Let's just use that.
Yep.
Oh man. Okay. We've got some action on the FIBA World Cup. They are warming. See if we can see Grant McCaslin here. I think he's maybe top left corner. There as we do the intros and otherwise. These two arenas that they're using have looked pretty good.
Yep. You like the floors? Simple.
Yeah, simple. The advertising is a little much, but...
Get ready.
Yeah, do it.
If it produces revenue, get ready.
Could you imagine a logo in the free throw line circle?
Yeah,
as
sure can.
Some one of these local,
I see
United supermarkets or something there locally.
I see those three little circles for State Farm coming your way.
Yeah, whatever it is. Let's see. Let's get back into the chat line. This texter says, Rob, I tried to tell you the Rangers were dead, total frauds. So far they're not frauds. They just are what they have been all year. I mean, they're the best team in baseball, statistically, as a defense. They went they set tied a franchise record.
Yeah.
Flipping between sports and college and pros, it's kind of hard sometimes.
Yeah. Is it a court, a field, a match, a game?
Is it kickoff, tip-off, first pitch, first touch, serve? All right. They said a franchise or tied a franchise record with 16 games in a row without an error. And then Corey Seager had one against the Mariners. And then I think Josh Jung had another one. But they're number one in fielding percentage. They're number one in team ERA. And I think the bullpen specifically is number one, which I've had issues with the bullpen, but they're getting the job done. It's just kind of misdirected. It's misdirected anger at the offense. It's like the offense can't be that bad. Surely something else is also bad. Is kind of what I've been trying to do. But no, the offense is just that bad. They're 29th. There's 30 teams in Major League Baseball. 29th in offense. Again, number one in fielding percentage. That's number one defense. Number one in ERA. That's the number one pitching staff. Starters. Bullpen. Nearly dead last. And I would assume, this is just a graphic with the Rangers, but I would assume the Rockies are the worst. So you are 29th in offense.
And Jake DeGrom is pitching 6+ innings the last 4 or 5 games. Not taking advantage of that opportunity.
Leiter's been good. Rocker's been good in the last two. Better. There's old Grant. Listen to the national anthem. Oh, Tommy Lloyd doesn't have his hand on his chest. Yeah. Tommy Lloyd's a commie. Don't let him back. That was a joke.
Yeah.
It's a joke. Don't sue me, Tommy Lloyd, for defamation or whatever else. Maybe he was he in the military? He was kind of in a military stance.
I think he probably
All right,
was.
so shout out to Tommy Lloyd. He had his hands behind his back.
Yeah, he did.
So he was standing at attention.
Yeah, attention or something.
So maybe Tommy Lloyd has a military family or something. All right, that game will kick off when we return. We'll also do some highs and lows. 10.7 the score in the end of the bench.
Playing time is not required. This is the End of the Bench podcast from 100.7 The Score.
Welcome back. 100.7 The Score. It's the end of the bench. Team USA up 24-17, 26-17 with 2 minutes to go in the first quarter. I've noticed something in these FIBA broadcasts. They're very player-focused. They're not really on the bench much.
No.
I think it's a skeleton crew, and the broadcasters are in studio in their basements.
And I thought it was interesting. They introduced them a while ago on screen, and they had just a little picture of them, but one of them's called the host.
Oh, so there's a host team, probably.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Let's see. They are in Switzerland. Lausanne, Switzerland. Right on the border of Lake Geneva. On the shore of Lake Geneva. Geneva on the other side of the lake. Look that up in the break.
And the Swiss Alps in the background.
I'm sure they are. Just outside the walls. All right, let's get to a burning question.
2 minutes of non-stop in-your-face inquiries with no end in sight. It's time for Burning Questions.
All right, you ready? We mentioned Texas State going to the Pac-12. With that, there are 8 Texas teams in Power 4 conferences. Texas in the SEC, A&M in the SEC, TCU in Big 12, Baylor Big 12, Houston Big 12, Tech Big 12, SMU in the ACC, and now Texas State in the Pac-12. Question, I'm burning to know, which one finishes the highest in their conference and which one finishes the worst in their conference?
All right, can you read it one more time?
You bet. Texas in the SEC, A&M in the SEC, TCU, Baylor, Houston, and Tech in the Big 12, SMU in the ACC, and Texas State in the Pac-12, although Texas State won't play in the Pac-12 till next year.
Okay. So I'm going to avoid Texas State.
Okay.
I'm going to say Houston finishes worse.
Okay.
Worst in the football. I'll go. Man. I mean, it's a 3-way tie, really, because I think Texas Tech, Texas, and SMU all have an opportunity. I'll say Texas and Texas Tech, I would put 1A, 1B.
Okay.
In that order, Texas and then Texas Tech. And I put SMU 2, Baylor 3, TCU 4, Houston at the bottom. That's how I would power rank them.
Okay.
A&M in there, probably below Baylor, above TCU.
Yeah. And they don't have to necessarily win their conference, just who finishes the highest.
I don't think SMU will be as good as last year. I think they were a little bit of a surprise. Though they return quarterback, tight end, some of those offensive pieces, and we're kind of reloaded defensively. And I don't really trust the ACC. But then you go to the SEC and it's their odds are.
Yeah.
I mean, it's Georgia or Texas.
Yeah.
A lot of people are high on Alabama right now, which we'll see what happens there. What do you think, Lucas?
Well, I agree that Houston's going to be the worst out of that group. And then at the top, I would really close. I got Texas Tech, and SMU. I think any of those three can kind of flip-flop. I think Tech could definitely be right, like literally right behind Texas. But I think that's kind of the order that I'm leaning towards at this point.
What do you think, Greg?
I'm right there along with you, except you guys are a little bit more bullish on SMU than I am. I think it's a two-way tie. I think it's Texas and Texas Tech, and I think they both could finish anywhere from 1 to 3 in their conference. And I agree with both of you. Houston, I think, is the one that's going to finish the furthest down the ladder. And I just Tech, there are 4 teams that could win the Big 12, and Tech is certainly one of them. In the SEC, I agree there's 2, but there's always somebody, Mississippi maybe, Tennessee maybe, that will come close, maybe not win it, but come close. So
I'm interested to see how the divisionless SEC shakes out over time.
Right.
Because in previous years, it's just, Georgia or Florida, whoever's hot at the time is going to be out of the West or the East, and then Alabama or LSU, and then maybe Missouri punches up twice.
Yep.
But I think if you look back, it's Georgia, Florida most years. So I think there's probably 3 teams in the SEC. My thing in the ACC is I'm not very high on SMU.
Yeah. But
that's just my opinion on the ACC.
Yeah.
Because it's Clemson,
Florida State. They're due, I think.
Well, they've been due quite a while.
Yeah.
Miami.
Yeah, Miami's up there.
Yeah.
But I think SMU has the 3rd best odds.
Yeah.
I'd have to double check that, but
yeah, I would
Virginia
agree.
Tech is right behind them.
Yeah,
and then
especially
people think Georgia
based
Tech's
on
going
last
to be
year.
good, but
All right.
Haynes King is back.
Question number 2.
Okay.
There are, by Fox Sports predictions, 10 teams that are capable and maybe first-time college football playoff teams.
Okay.
College football playoff for the first time, and there's 10. They've rated 10 of them, and they're not in any given order, like this was most capable or that one's most good, but they're just 10 teams that are very capable to go for the first time. Give me 3 of them.
As like a quiz?
Yeah.
All right, Texas Tech will be on there.
Yes.
I would assume, let's go, there's probably some more Big 12 teams. Let's say Iowa State is on there.
Correct.
Let's go with, is there another Big 12 team? No, don't tell me. Don't tell me. I would put Baylor on there. I don't know if they have them there nationally. So I'm not going to say Baylor. Penn State. Have they been in it?
They went last year.
Oh, they were in there last year.
Yeah.
I forgot they expanded for 17. Okay, all right.
The Penn State rule. We're going to put as many teams as it takes to get Penn State in there.
10? OU's been, Alabama's been, LSU's been, Kentucky, no. Ole Miss?
No.
Meh. Wow.
There's 2 Southeastern Conference teams.
For the first time, who do they think is going to be up there? Ole Miss is not in there?
Mm-mm.
But there's 2. Oh, Miami, ACC.
Yes, that's one of them.
Okay.
Yeah.
But the SEC, Georgia, Florida.
Florida's one of them.
Florida. Lucas, you got an SEC team that's not been to the playoff that might go this year? A&M?
No. Kind of surprised me a little bit.
Yeah, if it's not A&M, Ole Miss. OU's been, but I don't think they're going to go this year. It's not Kentucky.
No.
South Carolina?
Yes.
Oh.
Yes.
Okay.
The team that nobody knows is in the Southeastern Conference.
That's not going to happen. It might happen because it's the SEC, but.
Any other guesses, Lucas?
USC?
Nope.
All right, Oregon's been, Washington's been. Is there like a Wisconsin, Nebraska, Iowa?
Yes, Iowa.
Or we'll try to get the rest on the other side. 100.7 The Score. It's the end of the bench.
Playing time is not required. This is the End of the Bench podcast from 100.7 The Score.
Welcome back. 100.7 The Score. It is the End of the Bench. Looking at a couple of things today. All right, earlier we did in the Burning Questions segment at 10:30. We had 10 schools capable of making their first playoff.
All right.
I've thought of a few more teams.
Okay, you're down. You named 6. You and Lucas: Miami, South Carolina, Florida, Iowa State, Texas Tech, and Iowa. So you got 4 more to name.
All right. I think I've got at least 2 more.
Okay.
Kansas State would be the other Big 12 team.
That is correct.
And then there's got to be another Big 10 team. I don't think Luke Fickell and Wisconsin have any steam coming into the season. I've already said Iowa. I don't think Michigan State has the steam coming into the year. Brett Bielema's Illinois team has a little steam.
Correct.
All right. So I feel like there's probably another ACC team. Is that true?
That is correct. There's 2 teams left.
Okay. Let's go. Lucas, let's talk through this here. Clemson's been a bunch. Miami went, or we already guessed Miami. SMU went last year. What about Louisville?
It's not a bad.
Let's guess Louisville.
Correct.
Yeah.
Last one. I don't think you're going to get it, but we'll just give you a chance.
All right, so this has got to be G5. I mean, is it Washington State or Oregon State that they think's going to get in there?
No.
Okay.
I didn't know this team was going to be that good, but apparently they're good enough to be considered by Fox Sports.
Tulane?
No.
Am I on the right track?
Yes.
Memphis?
No.
Ooh, that's a good one. Army?
No.
You're right. Okay, Navy.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. No, I wouldn't have pegged Navy as a playoff contender.
Either, but apparently they're going to be
okay.
Be pretty good.
A world with Texas Tech, Brett Bielema in their first playoffs. Man, if old Brett Bielema got to come to Lubbock for a playoff game, whoo, sign me up for that, baby.
He would never come back.
No, he would not. There would be a bunch of signs about Cliff Kingsbury in the crowd, I'm sure.
Yep.
What a day that would be.
I think it's a legitimate list. I really do. I don't. The ones I don't know about, and I was a little bit surprised. South Carolina. I didn't. They ended pretty hot last year, but I didn't know, being in the Southeastern Conference, you got to finish 1, 2, 3, or 4, and I didn't know if they could finish that high.
They won't.
Of course, Navy, and then Iowa. I was surprised that Iowa could score enough points to win enough games to to hang in there as a possible first-time participant?
Yeah, I think that's more of. I guess I'd have to look at Iowa's schedule because they're divisionless as well. So if they kind of catch the right glint, kind of like Texas did last year, I think they certainly could run through because there's no such thing as style points. You don't really have to score. You just have to keep everybody else from scoring.
Yep.
Which is what they've done. And if their schedule's such a way that they can get to the Big Ten championship, I wonder how strong Oregon's going to be in year 2. I wonder if kind of one of those other new schools, Washington, UCLA, USC, makes any noise this year. And then you have the traditional powers in the Big Ten.
But you assume by this list that they think Indiana was a one-time shot.
Yeah, so do I.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Yeah, I do. I think the stars were aligned for them.
What are your thoughts on Cignetti, their head coach?
I think he puts together a good staff, and I think he's the rah-rah guy. I don't think he's the X's and O's guy, but I think the team he got the kids to play hard for him, and I think that's pretty admirable for a coach to be able to do that.
I generally like rah-rah guys. I love Joey McGuire. I feel like
I do too.
He seems genuine.
Yes. I totally agree with that.
I could probably come up with a name of a list of 5 pretty easily of top 5 goobers in college football. Cignetti is number 2 on my list. Number 1, I think you probably know, Lucas. Could you guess my number 1 goober in college football? I talk about him all the time. He's got a nickname. Eli Dorkwitz.
Oh.
Out at Missouri.
Yeah.
Dorkwitz is the number 1 goober, but I think starting with Google Me. The Google Me comment was like, all right, that was kind of cool. Like, we win. Google Me. But then the rest of what he said last year and the comments this offseason, it's like, okay, Cignetti, let's take a beat here.
I totally agree with that.
Yeah.
Totally agree with that for both of those. It's not what they say is bad. Me personally, it rubs me the wrong way in post game when Dorkowitz or Drinkowitz or what, when both of them. I mean, it just what they say kind of like, why did you say that?
Right.
You know,
I personally like Lane Kiffin, but he's probably in the top 5.
Yeah.
Probably closer to 5.
Yeah.
Gundy rides a real thin line between goober and non-goober. I'd probably put him at 6. Same with PJ Fleck.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I like a lot of these guys.
Yeah.
But I wonder if how I feel about Dorkowitz and Cignetti or how maybe some national fan bases feel about Joey. Because I'm around Joey a lot.
Yeah.
Not personally. We don't like hang out, but I listen to all his press conferences. Yeah. I'm pretty in tune with what Texas Tech is doing. I know his story. I just hear clips from Drinkowitz and Cignetti, so
that's
I wonder.
Fair. I mean, that's fair to say that. But
this texter
one thing
says
about
Dillingham is on the list. Yeah, he's one of those other guys where it's like it's paying off right now, but he's on the cusp. I might put him at 3. Satterfield's not a big goober, but I don't think he's a very good football coach.
The guy at Arizona kind of.
Brent Brennan is just a bad coach, I think. Because goobers, there's sometimes you're so good you have to respect them.
Yeah.
Which I think is kind of where Lane Kiffin is to me. Like, he's done it long enough now at Ole Miss. It's like, well, you can't really not respect him. So there has to be some level of success to be a goober. Because otherwise you're just punching down.
Yeah.
Like, if Brent Brennan's on the list, I'm just punching down. He hadn't been good anywhere.
Definitely.
He's a gomer.
Yeah. Definitely not a goober.
There's 2 different. There's gomers and goobers.
Yeah.
Goobers. Yeah. I got to be careful there.
Yeah. Definitely not a goober, but somebody that kind of I don't know. I just don't get him yet is Kirby Smart. He's a good coach. He's got a great program. He recruits well. But he is, him on the sidelines, and
he's Goober territory.
Yeah.
Him and the South Carolina coach, Beamer.
Yeah.
Beamer gets a little, again, if I was a South Carolina fan, I think I'd probably feel the way about Beamer that I do about Joey, because he does seem genuine. Yeah. But from afar, it's like, dude,
you know what?
Why are you saying the SEC runs through wherever South Carolina
The thing
is?
I like about a lot of things I like about Joey McGuire, but he's honest. He's brutally honest, but he also is very fair to his own players and other teams, and so I think he's good, really good.
That's a whole perspective of Joey. What if you just heard clips?
Yeah, I would think he's a cheerleader.
Just got the clip,
I would think, yeah.
To be fair, Joey is not on my Goober list. Not even close.
No,
But I feel like
a good coach that I like.
Yeah,
Dan Lanning of Oregon.
I do. I like that. He seems genuine.
Yep.
Because if his delivery was poor, he'd be a Goober. More after this.
Playing time is not required. This is the End of the Bench podcast from 100.7 The Score.
Welcome back. 100.7 The Score. It is time for Ask the Benchwarmers. Uh, 92 to 50 equals 40. If poor Chuck would have said that, he would have gotten roasted. Well, as I said it,
I started saying it was 40 when you started.
There was a 2-point bucket that made it 40.
Yeah.
It was 92-50. Oh, yep. 52.
Yeah.
40 points.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is 92 minus 52 not 40?
Yeah. Every day.
Twice on Sunday, huh? I know it's Tuesday, but
yeah.
Also, if I'm calling a football game and it's close to 40 and I say it's a 40-point game, that is, I mean, come on.
Yeah. Yeah.
This guy just likes to
find fault.
Is it really pronounced Eccles or Eccles? I only ask because of you and Collier and Bullfighter's constant talk on pronunciation, or if it's just disrespecting Utah by saying it wrong intentionally. I'm on board with that. Yeah, I don't care. That's all it is. Is it Eccles or Eccles?
I always thought it was
Eccles. Is it Eccles?
I don't know. I've always heard it as Eccles, but
it's probably Eccles.
I don't know. I don't know.
My give a dang meter on what to call Rice Eccles is pretty low.
Full disclaimer.
Yeah.
I'm going to mispronounce a lot of things, so get ready.
Craig, you and I together, we might be the peak of mispronouncing things. Dear bro, how are you? I'm fine. How do you watch your sports? Are you a cord cutter, have an antenna, or a pirate cable or satellite? If you have any tips you could provide on an in-depth analysis before football season on the air and on your X account, thank you for the TV consumption tips that you give us. Gordo, P.S. Please tell one Craig Wells that Gordo hopes he has a happy Bobby Bonilla Day. Happy Bobby Bonilla Day.
Gordo, always great to hear from you. Always great.
I am a cord cutter. I split services with, during football seasons with my dad. So I'll pay for Peacock or whatever, and he'll pay for the rest. They use Hulu Live. You can't use Hulu Live outside of their house because Hulu Live gets that locked down. I live in the same zip code as my parents at an apartment complex close by. And even though we're in the same zip code, they're like, nah, you're not at the same house. Doesn't work. And so I am a cord cutter that has an antenna. And I also have cable through my apartment complex, but I never use it.
Yeah.
So if it's on CBS, I'm on the Paramount app. If it's on NBC, I'm on the Peacock app. Or I'll just flip it over to the antenna and watch it there. If there's two games I want to watch.
I'm a direct stream Hulu Roku guy.
Yeah.
That's it. I don't have Paramount or Peacock, or I should, but I don't.
Well, if you have Hulu Live, most of what you want is on those.
Right.
There are some exclusive TV shows, but most of what you need is on there.
We don't use Hulu Live as much as we probably should or could, but because DirecTV Stream has a lot of stuff on it, a lot of stuff.
Okay.
If you get the packages,
And that's a live option, yeah?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Lucas, are you a cord cutter or a...
Yeah, so I pay monthly for MLB TV, so I can watch all the games I want except for Rangers and Astros. But I can watch any other MLB game at any time.
Can I pause you?
Yeah.
Could you watch the Orioles last night?
No. So I was watching
That
it on
is
my phone.
so dumb.
Yeah.
So you couldn't watch Kevin Brown lose it on Josh Jung minute bat because they were playing the Rangers.
Yeah.
So if you're a Baltimore Orioles lifer and you're relocated to Lubbock, Texas, 5 hours away from the Rangers, have no interest in the Rangers whatsoever, you're blacked out of your Orioles broadcast that you pay for.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's say you're a Baltimore native, lived in Baltimore for 40 years, retire to St. Petersburg, Florida. You can't watch any Rays broadcast 17 times a year?
Nope.
I guess if it's in Baltimore, you
Right.
can watch it, but you can't watch so it's like 9 times a year you can't watch those games?
Golly.
That is insane to me.
Yeah. They've got to fix that.
You should be able to watch the road. Do you have a favorite team on there, or do you just pay
the
for
O's is my favorite team.
You should be able to watch every Baltimore
I
game.
agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
Because if you pay for the O's, it's obviously that you're not circumventing watching the road team for the Rangers.
And why doesn't MLB allow that? Because all that does is build an audience for certain teams.
Well, that's why. They don't want an audience. All right, what were you saying? Sorry.
No, so I use that to watch any game. I let my parents use it. They're big Washington Nationals fans, so they get to watch the Nationals play. And then we have the ESPN app that I can watch anything on ESPN, and then we've got just the local channels. So, but we had NFL game day or ticket, so I could watch all the NFL games because Chargers fan, wife's a Commanders fan. Definitely don't get to watch that here with the Chiefs and the Cowboys getting the local channels. So, kind of whatever sport is active and going is the premium monthly subscription that I fork over about $30 to $50 a month, depending on what sport it is. So that's kind of how I do it.
That's one thing I like about ESPN Plus. If you're a college football fan, you can watch just about any game you want. And same thing with college basketball.
Yeah, basketball, baseball too.
Yep.
Softball. If let me ask you this. Are you going to pay for the ESPN service?
No.
The new app. It's going to be like $30 a month for all ESPN stuff.
Yeah. I don't know. It's a good question. I probably would, but I don't know.
I'm going to wait and see what they do to ESPN Plus.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, Lucas, we got a couple minutes left.
We got one question from the chat line.
Okay.
What are some? This is from Bullfighter. What are some shows you miss watching from when you were younger? He says Maury, Jerry Springer were two of his favorites. Also, Legends of the Hidden Temple. That was an awesome show. Guts was an awesome show. Double Dare was an awesome show. I grew up watching a bunch of game shows on the Game Show Network.
Mm-hmm.
So
Press Your Luck.
Card Sharks.
Yeah, Card Sharks was awesome.
Yeah.
Press Your Luck was awesome. The old versions of like $1,000 Pyramid or $10,000 Pyramid, $100,000 Pyramid, whatever it was. Match Game was awesome. Probably didn't catch most of the jokes when I was a kid, but now you go back and they're like, oh, I get it.
Yep.
All right, what were you going to do?
Okay, you got my songs? You ready?
Let's hear them.
American Pie, Don McLean. Did you play that yesterday or Thursday?
No, we didn't get that one.
Okay. Courtesy of the Red, White, and Blue, Toby Keith.
Great one.
Born in the USA, Springsteen.
Sure.
America with Neil Diamond.
Nice.
Where Were You with Alan Jackson.
Love it.
And that's it.
Solid.
Yep.
You can send yours on the chat line as well.
Find a way to put some of those songs in on for Thursday.
But you just do what you want to do, because I like your music choice. I liked it Monday, yesterday.
I mean, Collier had the best songs.
Yeah, he did. This texture, but remember, Manfred is committed to growing the game. Ha!
You know, Collier would probably make a good DJ. You know it? Yeah, he could. We got to give him a DJ name.
Yeah, we'll have to work on that one.
President DC.
DJ DC?
Yeah.
I always went with DJ Tanner, but that was a Full House.
Collier,
joke.
if you're listening, which you're not, but
He probably is, actually.
Think up your own DJ name, because that's your next life is going to come back as a spinning the wax, as they say.
All right, that's it from us. For myself, Craig Wells, Lucas White. We'll see you tomorrow. Bottom line up next.
This has been the End of the Bench podcast from 100.7 The Score. Go to 107thescore.com for more from the Double T Sports Network.